Hello queens. I'm back at y'all with another client tutorial, and today I'm bringing y'all this seductive soft makeup look, and I'm jumping straight into the video. I'm starting this by cleaning my client's face. For this makeup look, I decided to go for a face full of Morphe. So I'm going to be using as many Morphe products as I can. First, I'm going in with their eye pencil along with their clear brow gel. And I'm going to be using this to fill in and outline her brows. This pencil is in the shade Chocolate Mousse. So I believe this is the darkest shade that they have out right now. I was pleasantly surprised by this pencil, y'all. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. If you watch my client tutorials, then y'all already know I love my Nicka K brow pencil. But the way this pencil applied throughout her eyebrows, it was chef's kiss. The only thing that I have negative to say about it was that the product does break off very easily. So you kind of have to have a light hand when it comes to applying it. Now that both of the eyebrows have been outlined, I'm going to start filling in all the sparse areas. Now I'm going in with the clear brow gel, and I'm just applying this throughout her eyebrows. I feel like this is the type of product you use when you like to have that nice soft brow. Me personally, I like to snatch my clients' brows all the way back, so I think I prefer my clear lash glue, but this did the job for this look. I think it came out good, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. To clean up her brows, I'm going in with these two Nicka K concealers in the shades 01 and 08. First, I'm taking the shade 01, and I'm using this to clean up underneath her arch. Morphe did send me some concealers, and I love the texture of them as well. However, I don't feel like any of the shades matched up with the shades that I needed to use on my client, and I want to keep those all to myself anyway. And I just want to put out a disclaimer real quick, y'all. Despite me being on their PR list, majority of the products that I use in this video were purchased with my own money, so I'm just letting that be known right now. And I do highly recommend them, y'all. Morphe has some bomb products, but y'all are gonna see that in the rest of the video. But now, as you can see, I'm going in with the shade number 8, and I'm gonna use this to clean up the remainder of the way on the top and the bottom of my client's eyebrows. Now that her brows are all clean, I'm taking my RCMA no color powder, and I'm going to be applying this throughout the front of her brows to lighten them up, and I'm using it to set the concealer in place. For an eyeshadow base, I'm taking my e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Rose, and I'm just going to be applying this all over her lids. You want to work one eye at a time because it does dry very quickly. For this eyeshadow look, I'm going in with my Morphe 35M Boss Moves palette. And first, I'm going to be going in with this medium tone brown shade along with this dark brown shade. And these are going to be my transitions. So first, I'm taking a lighter brown and I'm just sweeping this across the edge of her eye. You want to keep it kind of slanted. You don't really want to take this inward towards the inner corner. We want to keep it on the outer edge. Once I've built up that lighter brown shade, I'm going in with that darker brown and I'm going to add it right into her crease. As I apply this color, I'm going to make sure that I go back in with the first shade as well, just to ensure that the edges are blended. To deepen up this look a little more, I decided to go in with the black eyeshadow, and I'm just sweeping this around her lash line. I'm taking a matte white eyeshadow and I'm going to be using this to highlight the inner corners of her eyes. Now I'm taking whatever excess concealer is left on my brush and I'm using it to clean up the center of her lids. Y'all, we were watching a good movie, so if she can't keep her eyes closed, that's why. And now I'm taking this matte beige eyeshadow and I'm just applying it in the center. And then I'm going in with that first brown shade that we used and I'm just applying it onto the edge just to make sure that everything is nice and blended before we move on. And to top off this look, I'm going to be going in with some black gel liner and I'm just applying this to her lash line. You want to make sure that when you apply the gel liner that you really get in there, okay? Lift up the client's eye. Make sure that you get all up on that lash line. We're going to tight line as much as possible. And I like to keep her liner small because she doesn't have like big eyes, but I want them to look as big as possible. So I just use a small line instead of going in with a thick one. After I have that liner all applied, I'm going back in with that black eyeshadow and I'm using it to blend out the edge. I wanted the liner to have like that cat eye effect, so I'm going in with some black liquid liner and I'm using it to define the inner corners of her eyes. Y'all, I've been doing makeup now for over 10 years, and this is the only thing that I still have trouble with on my clients. Although it looks real good, it's so hard to do, y'all. It is very hard to do. So I don't really have any advice on this. I like for my clients to have their eyes open and closed, and I don't want them to talk to me, look at me. I don't even want them to breathe. Okay, hold your breath until I get it right. But this came out looking real good, girl. You see it? Moving on to the face, I'm going in with my Pond's moisturizer, and I'm going to be using this to hydrate her skin. Y'all know I love to go in with a generous amount, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going in with this dense foundation brush, and I'm just using it to rub that moisturizer into her skin. And this is when the movie started getting good, y'all. We were watching that Madea movie on Netflix, the new one. I can't lie, I don't really like the way the ending went, but it had us from the beginning to the middle. I'm not gonna lie. For a primer, I'm going in with my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Y'all know I cannot get enough of this primer, and I really didn't need it because her skin is already pretty smooth, but for the purpose of this video, I decided to use it anyway. Last but not least, I'm taking that Calamine lotion. I keep telling y'all it's the summertime in Texas. I need that Calamine lotion, and I'm just focusing this in her T-zone, but I'm gonna pretty much end up blending it all around her face. I'm going to be balancing out her skin before I get into the foundation, and I believe I'm using my Nicka K concealer in the shade 08. For her foundation, I'm going in with my Fit Me foundation, and I believe it's in the shade Spicy Brown, but if I'm wrong, I'll make sure to have it in the description box down below for y'all. To highlight her face, I'm going in with another Nicka K concealer, and I want to say it's in the shade 04. I'm going to go in and press in that concealer using the same brush that I used to press in her foundation. Always take the excess concealer and use it to clean up the edge of the eyeshadow. I'm going in with this Morphe contour stick, and the shade name is on the screen. It's in the color Sizzle, and I'm using this to bronze up her face. I really like the shade of this contour stick, y'all. It wasn't too much, it was just enough. Y'all know I don't really like a harsh contour, so this was perfect for me. After I'm finished defining her face, I'm going to go ahead and sculpt out her nose. Now that I'm finished with the contour, I'm going to go ahead and finish blending the concealer underneath her eyes. And whenever I get close up on the eye, I just like to use a powder puff. I feel like it blends it out so effortlessly. I'm going to go in and set the concealer in place using my Morphe loose powder, and this one is in the shade Banana Rich. I'm going in with this Morphe contour and blush palette, and I'm going to be using this to set the contoured areas of her face. I just went in with one of the lighter tones, or maybe it was the second to darkest one. It was one of those, y'all. I didn't want to go too deep. As I said, y'all know I don't like a harsh contour. To set the remaining areas of her face, I'm going in with my Fenty loose powder, and it was in the shade Hazelnut. I decided not to go in with any blush for this look, y'all. I feel like this look didn't need any blush. As I said, I wanted her to look seductive. I don't want her to look rosy. I want her to look seductive. I'm going back in with that black gel liner, and I'm just applying this all across her waterline. I'm going in with that black eyeshadow, and I'm going to be sweeping this across her lower lash line. I'm going back in with one of those brown shades, and I'm just using it to smoke out her lower lash line. Now that the under eyes are complete, I'm going to go ahead and dust away all of the powder. To set her face, I'm going in with my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Before her face completely dries, I'm just going to go in and lightly apply some highlighter. Now I'm just going to go in and apply her lashes, and y'all already know I went ahead and cut them off camera, so I'm just gluing them right onto her lash line. I'm going in with some mascara, and I'm just applying it to her bottom lashes. To outline her lips, I'm going in with my Juvia's Place foundation stick, and the shade name will be in the description box down below. For the center of her lips, I'm going to be going in with two of my Absolute New York liquid lipsticks. This first one is in the shade Terrecotta, and I'm going on top of it with a lighter shade, and it's going to be in the shade Mink Pink. I'm gonna have her press her lips together to help me blend everything out. And I won't even lie to y'all, I went in with a few lippies for this look. So after I applied this one, it looked real cute matte, but I wanted it to be glossy. So I decided to go in and add a clear gloss on top. But after I added the clear gloss, I feel like it changed the color of the lips and made them a little darker than I wanted them to be. So after I finished applying the clear gloss, I went in with the most pale beige lip gloss that I could find, and I applied it to the center of her lips just to add a little bit more dimension. And I'm gonna have her press her lips together again to help me blend everything out. And once I have it all blended, that'll be the finished look, y'all. So I'm just gonna let y'all watch. I think this is my favorite look. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I think you said it's everything.
But this, like, listen. Okay, you ready to see?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have to go somewhere in there, girl. You look grown. You're gonna have to go somewhere. Hey, queens, we've made it to the end of the video, and y'all already know my takeaway from this look. I think that it came out stunning, okay? This look is bomb, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you turn on your post notifications so you don't miss an upload, and stay tuned for my next one. Bye bye, queens.